Hey, Daisy.
Hi.
It's good to have you here this morning. Everyone, I just was very excited. I knew this would happen one day, but I really wanted to have an opportunity to interview Daisy, who is a part of our Luma publishing team. And I am so proud of her, and I want you to get to know her. And this has a lot to do with, for me personally, empowering this next generation and their creativity and really defining how important it is to have some intergenerational collaboration. So I feel so grateful to have someone who was 16 when we started, who's now 17. She is an author, a published author, and she did all of her illustrations herself. And I just want to have this opportunity to both encourage not only young authors, but I want to encourage people my age. I'm 64 years old. I'm proud to say that I am, and that I've been able to publish my book at 64. So you're never too young or too old to be able to have these experiences. So, Daisy, do you have your, first of all, something to drink? Because we're going to have a casual conversation.
Yes, of course. I have my water bottle with my cute stickers of my guinea pigs and my giraffe stickers.
Yay! Daisy has two awesome, awesome
Yeah.
guinea pigs, and I'm rocking my new author mug because it says this is what a published author looks like. So grateful to have this. It was a gift from a friend, and we're just going to jump right in. So Daisy, I have some great questions for you. So
Awesome.
interested to know what you're going to say about that. Tell us first a little bit about your inspiration for your first book, because what I do know, it was spiritually inspired, just like my book was. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I always had like the dream when I was little to become like a published author and illustrator for children's books because in elementary school I was always like reading the comics in the library and like I liked creating all the stories. So fast forward when I'm in high school, I got into a tech school program that taught me how to like use Adobe programs to format and illustrate online. And I started like in my free time when I had free time at school to illustrate during like um our breaks and I used like the watercolors there and I started making I made my first illustration of George in front of his house holding a basket, like after he just got back from the market. And I was like, oh, I like this character because I had like the plan to, I wanted to make books, but I didn't know like where to start, what it was going to be about, who my characters were. And it was like this like spiritual moment where like I randomly made this character during like my break at school. And then I started making different illustrations that like I guess you could say God was showing me where I made like George washing his hands or George doing like the dishes in the kitchen and George brushing his teeth and George waking up. And eventually I was like, what can I turn this into? Because like I actually love these illustrations and I love this character. And I was like, this is like the structure of a morning routine. And that would be a great children's book plot because kids need to learn how to do their morning routines. So then I I did end up writing it, which is funny because usually when you create a children's book, you have like the plot and you have the storyboard, but I actually started off with just like an illustrations and then it went backwards into the writing. So I wrote the words with it and with my skills that I learned, I formatted it. And then I finally published it and it was like such like a interesting way to publish a book, but it all came together.
That is so fascinating. And I know you have a love for giraffes.
Yes, of course. That was definitely one of the reasons why George is a trap.
Can we see a picture of your book?
Yes. Here's my book right here. You can see I did the cover. Here's the back. George leaving as he does at
Mm,
the end of the book.
so beautiful. Beautiful. And I have read that book to my grandkids several times and they absolutely love it.
Aw.
My question is, are you gonna, do you have any desire to write any more books?
Yeah, actually I do. When I was illustrating originally George's morning routine, I was like on the side storyboarding for George Meets a Friend,
Oh,
which I want to continue the Twiddlebury Twig series from that book. I'm busy with school right now, but I do plan to publish that book, and that's gonna like launch the series and like the friendship of George and his guinea pig best friend Puff,
Oh, wow.
and that's gonna like basically just become their adventures and through the picture books is what I plan to do.
That is so cool, Daisy, that you already have a plan for the next one. The next question I want to ask you is a little bit about I've seen how creative you are. And by the way, Daisy is not just on the team, but Daisy is my technical mentor and has been teaching me how to use YouTube, Instagram. This is all new to me, guys, at this point. And so God's doing something very new at 64. And it requires me to learn a lot more about technology because I've been very hidden for the last 7 years with writing and on my journey. So what has inspired me, Daisy, about you and about you being such a creative, not only in publishing, but in your artwork, what is your take? And I know it's a personal take on uh, the advancement of AI technology and how it might impact the creatives and the creative space. You have any ideas on that?
Yeah, I do. I know there's like definitely within like the creative area, and artists, there's like a lot of controversy with AI, and especially between like the artistic community, artists will usually not go to support the AI because it's like not so much exercising creativity. It's you're using a robot to make for example, art. Um, that's like something that makes us human. It's how we express ourselves.
Hmm.
And we shouldn't it just like takes that like human feel and the purpose behind art away if like, a robot makes it because like there's not any like feeling or process to it from that.
Mm.
But what I heard this analogy of like picturing your brain as like a crayon box. And especially for kids like growing up in school and like they have all computers in school now and they can use AI for like, you know, writing things and making art. So if you like are using AI and you have like this crayon box of all these gray colors, you want a rainbow crayon box. And if you keep learning and you like learn how to write the essays, you learn how to do the artistic things, you
Mhm.
expand your art, then your colors start to show in like your crayon box. But if you are just using like AI and computers, you're not actually expanding your mind.
Mm.
And that can be really dangerous, especially for kids who are like surrounded by it. And that's why it's important to like make sure to always be expanding your mind. Um, as of the artistic community, especially within like book publishing, because I've seen like AI books, like both in writing and illustrating. I
Hmm.
have to say, like um first of all, like the spiritual atmosphere from it is just not there, and like you can't like feel the work the human did, and it just looks off because a robot made it. They're just going off of the analytics, like, oh, from based off all these Google images, this is where the hand's supposed to be. But like humans know that from their experience and they know
Wow.
like where to draw that. So it can look off-putting. And I do think that it takes away, like, if you're reading a book, you want it to have meaning. And if it's made by a robot, it kind of takes that away.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And man, we could do a whole video on that or interview. Maybe we'll do something later, but that's really huge. And I really wanted to hear from your perspective as a young person, one who's already published and very, very into your artwork and gifted. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um, so what was it that intrigued you about joining the Luma publishing team?
Yeah. So, um, as I've been like getting like older and I'm about to become an adult, I'm like realizing like the jobs that I'm applying for, I want to make sure that I agree with the mission and like their like purpose and what they're going to do. And with Luma Publishing, like God has so much planned for Luma Publishing and like what it's supposed to do and the people it's going to reach and affect. And with Journey to Becoming Love, formatting that like I'm like contributing like to this like amazing plan God has. And that was really important. And like it's just amazing to be part of something like that.
Man, if we have fun. We've been up at
Yeah.
on late nights on the phone and
Hmm.
doing this together. And I gotta say, the relational part of this has just been extraordinary. And I couldn't have asked for a more dynamic, loving team that we definitely believe God handpicked to do this work. Let me ask you, how is the topic and the understanding of what becoming love means? How has it impacted you personally?
Yeah. So I've already had like this sort of mindset before, but like a journey to becoming love really like finited my mindset in that like love is so much more important than like the differences we notice in each other, and especially like now through like politics and all sorts of things that divide us, like it's really important, especially like between your family, because not families have all different views, and like if you are arguing instead of loving
Mm.
and there's that division between you, it's just not worth it, because like it says like in the end like love wins, and without love you can't win. So if you don't have like love in a relationship before all of like your disagreements, that's not gonna be any good for you and your relationship with them. Also, spiritually, forgiveness is super important, and that like love has to like be the main player in that, because if you don't forgive, then you're like damaging yourself, and you're also like not wanting to fix what's broken in your relationship.
Oh, I love that, Daisy. That message itself and the climate that we're in right now with a lot of divisiveness and
Hmm.
people wanting to stay in their own echo chambers of what they think is right. And so you feel more comfortable just in the presence of people who think like you do. What do you think is damaging about the fact when you want to just stay in your own little subculture, and how does it thwart learning and loving if we do that?
Yeah, it's if you grow up like being like so focused on why your way is right, and just like how that can narrow your mind so much. And it's important to have it always expanding and understanding the side the person's coming from, and like understand based off their past why they might be coming from that, and just
Mhm.
have like humility for yourself. Like nobody's like always like right. I mean, some things might be more correct over others, but in the end, like we know Jesus lived the perfect right life. We're humans, and that you just have to understand that like God looks at us as his like little sheep. So we have to also like look at each other like that. Like God looks at all of us like we're just trying to understand life, and we have to like give everybody a little bit of grace with how they're thinking, and like just love them anyway.
That's so beautiful. I know that as you're starting to look at colleges and moving forward, what do you think's next for you? You told us a little bit about what do you want to do with publishing. What else would you like to see happen?
Yeah, so I'm in the process of figuring out what to do with what colleges I want to go to. I actually I'm torn between either becoming a vet or going into publishing more in depth. Um, but as I decide through that, I do know that no matter what, publishing and like continuing my books
Hmm.
and my art, that's always going to be playing like a key component. That I'm always going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Even if I become like a vet or something else, I'm going to find a way to incorporate that with my artistic side and passions.
Oh, I love that, Daisy, so much. And I can't be more grateful that I've had an opportunity to work with you. I've known you since you were a little girl. And here we are now working together. And Luma Publishing has a very important philosophy around the honor that we give to each person in the group. There's four of us actually on the team, and My husband's actually one of them, but he does the financial side. So he doesn't collaborate on the creative side, but I need that side as well. However, I do know when we have meetings, one thing we always talk about is, I look at Daisy and I see Daisy as an expert in what she does. She's put a lot of work, time, and energy into perfecting international formatting. She formatted my book. Um, and what she does with excellence. And when we collaborate, I don't want her to see me as a boss, but as a one who, when we all sit in a room, we have equal things to share, and all of them are equally as important. So I love just that atmosphere of honor where we can sit and collaborate. And I just want to thank you so much. For all that you've done to help me get to the finish line with my book. And I want to end by you telling me a little bit about if you wanted to say something to um, the young audience of artists and people who like to publish, what would be some words of wisdom that would help them maybe to get started?
Yeah. Um, so what I would say is especially like if like I did mine when I was 16, published my book, but I was dreaming since I was like I don't even know, 7 was when I really started like getting into art. And so I would say like you have to start somewhere no matter what. You don't have to have like a budget. You don't have to have like a publisher figured out. You just have to like get your idea going. So like publishing a book wise, if you wanted to like publish like a chapter book, then you can just start writing like the first chapter or like building your characters up. If the writing intimidates you, like start world building, like what's this world going to be like? What's the setting? And draw your characters. Like just get into that. And like if you start making like your little universe for your project, it'll really just start to expand. And like if you wanted to do a children's book like me, like you can start off with your illustrations first. You can start off with writing it first, plotting it, just like whatever you do, like create, and then it'll all follow itself.
I love that because when we were doing our book launch, there was a little one at the book launch, and she's 9 years old. And
Mhm.
she was so excited seeing Daisy, meeting Daisy, and said, I want to write a book too. So we're going to keep that conversation going. And in the meantime, I just want to show you my book. Daisy, you go ahead and put your book up. All right. So you got two authors and you have two books here, and we will put those in the links below
Yep.
from this interview. And I am just so encouraged by you and as a young person stepping into a field that could be very scary and intimidating to do, but with self-publishing, it's helped authors that haven't had a voice in the past to have one. So I just want to thank you for doing this interview with me.
Thank
I
you.
am so grateful for you, and I'll just say till next time.
Okay.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Bye.